Good morning, everybody. Jim Feist and Hank Goldberg here in Las Vegas. Happy Wednesday morning to everyone. Hank, good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
I know you've been doing pretty good. You're picking winners. You got to be feeling good about that.
Yeah. Yesterday was a good basketball day. Monday we talked a little bit about San Diego State. They crushed New Mexico yesterday. They're good. Yeah. And, they're ranked fourth in the country right now. They're unbeaten. They stepped out of the conference earlier this year, and they crushed Creighton by almost 30 points or more. And they beat BYU. And they can shoot. They're just a real good team, although when they get into the postseason, they may run into trouble because of their lack of height. But they're a team to be reckoned with. They're well coached and they can score at will. They have a great 3-point shooting team. We talked a little bit about them on Monday, but they're cash when you play them. They come through, and they're real good.
Well, this is a great season for somebody to step up from one of the middle or lower conferences and do some damage, because there's really no really strong team out there that you have to be afraid of. I mean, look at last night. I had a good night last night, but I lost with Rhode Island, and that Dayton team is just tough. They're brutal. They play really good.
They're good.
So you talk about Dayton and San Diego State. I mean, you got two teams right there that easily.
Well, Dayton's not a small conference team. Dayton's got a great tradition in basketball, and I consider them as among the top teams, particularly the way they can score. But I'll tell you a team to watch right now, and that's Texas Tech. They've won their last 3 games. They crushed TCU. And, they have a real good coach in Beard. They went to the finals last year. They've got 4 scorers in double figures. They are really tremendous on defense again, and they're getting real good at the right time. Keep an eye on that team.
Oh, I do. I watch them all the time. And Beard, what he did last year, that has to be on everybody's mind, how good they were. I mean, that was a hell of a game in that final last year. This is going to be incredible. They easily could come back. You got some good teams out there. It's going to be a very fun. They're
35-1 right now. Wouldn't be a bad play.
That's true. You got a little leverage there for sure. We got some. Wednesday's always a good card, big card. Basketball, we got some good games out there tonight. And any of them stand out that you want to discuss?
Well, let's see. There's a lot of good games tonight. Seton Hall is playing Creighton. Butler's Xavier. Those are 2 real good games. Seton Hall is really good right now. They're a team, I think they're the top team in the East. They beat Villanova over the weekend. Auburn's playing Alabama. That's a big rivalry game. West Virginia, Kansas is a big game. West Virginia's great defensively. They're home against Kansas, who I think is a little bit overrated right now. And, those are all good games. Villanova, Marquette. Watch out for Marquette. They're well coached, and they're playing very well right now.
Yeah, and they got that one player. Is just Howard is just. He may not be very big, but boy, he's big on the court. He is an amazing player. You get them once in a while. Not too big, but boy, they can hit those shots. And we saw what Stephon Curry did years ago with that kind of talent. The other day, West Virginia got clobbered looking ahead. I think looking ahead a little bit to this game. You should never do that, of course, but a lot of times kids get caught up in that. They know this big game with Kansas, so they'll probably they will bounce back with a bigger effort. Kansas, though, is a tough team. How good do you think Villanova is? I know they've been, in the championship game a few years. Jay Wright does a great job. They're 17-6, as is Marquette. They're both ranked high in the top 20. Villanova is a 5-point favorite now. They opened 4 and they up to 5. That's a very interesting game.
I don't like them. I don't think they're the Villanova teams of the past few years. They've lost too many guys. They rely too much on outside shooting. Marquette is very well coached. Wojo's done a great job. And I wouldn't give them points with Villanova.
All right. We talked a little bit off air. We've got the XFL coming into week number 2. What do you think of that league so far?
I think it's a minor league football sport. And I'm not going to bet on it.
You know a lot of those coaches that are coaching those clubs.
I do, but I'll tell you something. Well, Tressman, his team was supposed to be pretty good. They got inside the 5-yard line 3 or 4 times, couldn't score. They don't have a great running game. Their quarterback, who was supposed to be pretty good out of Georgia, threw 2 picks. They had a lot of drop passes. The offenses are not good. Every game went under the point total.
Wow.
Usually the leagues, you see wide open offense, it didn't happen. And Stoops, who's supposed to have a good team in Dallas, their quarterback stunk. They got 2 good television contracts, and they'll do fine until the basketball tournament starts, and then people will stop watching it.
Well, that's for sure.
They've got a couple of mistakes that were pointed out, not by me, but a couple other people who said that they should play the teams that are playing in the smaller venues. It looks good because you see they're drawing 17,000, 18,000 people. If they play in a bigger stadium like the New Jersey team is doing, I think the place looks empty. But it's probably going to be used as a developmental league, and some players will come out of it and hang on to make it into the NFL. And from that standpoint, it'll be fine. To me, it'd be like betting on AAA baseball.
Speaking of baseball, we haven't talked about baseball. They've come up with some new rules because a lot of things have happened over the off season with the scandal and pitching, the sign stealing, and the reformatting of playoffs. Is it too early to talk about that for you, or do you want to delve into it at all?
Well, they don't start playing for another 2 months where it counts. It's kind of early, but I think Minnesota's loaded.
Okay. If somebody wants to bet a future, that might be a good place to look then. They got everything.
Minnesota's got everything. They got pitching. They got hitting. Well, they got good manager. I think the Red Sox are coming apart. They may be the 3rd best team, if that, in their division. The Yankees are going to be good again, of course. We'll see how Houston responds to being a cheat.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, we've got a lot going on in sports. I don't know if there's any marquee stuff that you want to talk about. Anything this weekend in horse racing?
I will say one more thing about college basketball, and that is that Duke has become a real money burner. They failed to cover again against Florida State. Florida State's pretty good, but Duke just manages to win some of these games. They were home, and they don't shoot all that well. They don't have the depth on their first team that they've had in the past. I just don't think they're all that well balanced, and they're still highly ranked. I'm not sure they're a top 10 team right now. And I'll tell you, Virginia, they got beat again. They're not what they've been in the past. The ACC is down this year.
Definitely.
They don't have a lot going on.
That's sure. It was a good game to watch. Notre Dame, Virginia last night. It was a tussle. They played hard. 1-point game. It was good to watch that game, and I was shocked at the way Mississippi State played. It was tight early, and then Mississippi just took off in the second half and buried them. That was, a lot of these teams are looking forward to the conference tournaments, and I think that is happening a little bit where their head is not totally in the game like they're playing. They're thinking about what's coming down the road, which is right around the corner. That's possible. Anyway, anything...
Still about 3 weeks away. So
kids will be kids. Anything in horse racing this week coming up?
Well, there's a big race down in Louisiana at Fairgrounds, and it's... They've divided the stakes into two divisions. I'm not looking at anything big coming out of there. Big races will start in March.
All right. Well, Hank, anything else? If not, we'll pick it up on Friday.
Okay. You got a good golf tournament this weekend. The LA Country Club Riviera, that's a great tournament. You got Tigers in there. You got a lot of the top players. It was they had a good tournament at Pebble Beach, but this has got all the top guys, and it's they're playing for $1.3 million, good purse money. So that's always an entertaining tournament to watch.
Yeah, and you can, if you like to bet golf, you can pick up some prices. Right now I'm looking at Sergio over Kuchar, minus 115. Casey is even over DeChambeau, and Connor minus 130 over Palmer. These are bets I've made. I took Finau at 28-1, which is a hell of a price, and I mean, it's hard to pick the winner, but if you go for long shots, every once in a while, if you have a nickel on them, you can pick up a nice payday, and sometimes you can hedge as the tournament goes on because a lot of lines are adjusted as they go on. So it's fun to watch golf, and if you get one of the long shots, you can come in with some good stuff.
J.B. Holmes.
J.B. Holmes. What's the price on him?
Long shot.
Okay.
It's 6 figures.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay. I got a lot of bets on the matchups like Leishman over Rose, Schauffele over Koepka, Smith over Champ, Howell. I got Howell over Taylor. I mean, Taylor played really well last week and won that, but he's due for a little bit of a fall. Thomas plus 130 over McIlroy. I do a lot of that. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun to watch, and it's good TV, and you can have golf on and a couple other sports at the same time. Talk to you Friday, Hank. Appreciate it.
Okay. Have a good day, Jim.
You too, buddy. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, everybody, go to jimfeist.com for Hank's stuff and mine, and we've got good information there, and we're kind of in a lull now. Football season's over. They were introducing the XFL. College basketball is heating up. We don't have any great teams. We've got a lot of really good teams, and I think this is going to be a dark horse year. So keep your eye open for those dark horses. You can get a little price on those future bets. And I'm looking for a real profitable rest of February and March. It's going to be fun. Okay, we'll talk to you soon.